Hello, hello. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, so today I'm going live to talk about the power of mutation. This is an individual circuitry. Um, However, even though it is an individual circuitry, it definitely affects the entire tribe, the entire community, because you know mutation can happen very suddenly, especially in today's day and age, with so much consciousness, with so much information happening, it can be very instant. And so somebody's mutation can affect the entire tribe, the entire collective in various ways, right? Mutation typically happens in the root electromagnetic motor, and then it goes into the sacral. So it's an evolutionary process, right, that is empowered by the sacral electromagnetic motor, which creates a perpetual movement, which creates, a lot of, energy, to make things happen, response to a sudden change. And again, this is an individual circuit, but, given that, a lot of times people tend to live in like community or with family and so forth and so on, it will affect the entire tribe, the tribal circuitry. All right. So, the power of mutation is, something that is happening in society, right? But it's basically, pushing inherited creativity, right? And, it sort of like gives you like a rush, a jolt to, get things done, to step into, you know, um, like into the new, right? And as human beings, we're often, resistant to change. We're resistant to, the new that is coming in. So it's very important that, during this process of mutation, when it does occur, that, you give yourself grace and you remember to follow your strategy and authority. All right, it's very important to follow your strategy and authority. Somebody could tell you something and that could, influence you to mutate, right? Change your entire spectrum of things. And, you know, more often than not, like, we tend to resist it, right? And it's very normal. As human beings, we tend to go straight into the negative mind, and that's just like the protective mind, right? It's not necessarily a bad thing. We just call it the negative mind, but it's just a precautionary, right? And then what you want to do is alchemize that from the negative mind into the neutral mind, neutral headspace, and then go from the neutral mind to the positive headspace, to the positive mind, right? And attempting to do that with your other motors, right? Let's say your solar plexus, if you're an emotional authority, utilizing that, feel into it, find ways to alchemize through that. But again, mutation is very sudden, right? It's the root pushing for an evolution. It's pushing for a change. It's a mutative pulse that can encompass the entire circuitry, right? So what I will say is this: like when mutation does occur, sometimes if it's a mutation that you specifically want, right? That's not an issue. That's an easy go-to. If you're okay, I like this mutation. I want to go into it. I want to completely metamorphosize into something new, right? Those are the ones we tend to enjoy a lot more than the ones that come out of nowhere, right? And forcing things into like alignment for you. All right, sometimes a mutation takes a while, and you have to get used to it. It's allowing yourself to die to the old you, so that way the new you can be born, right? And like I said before, human beings tend to be resistant to change, right? But check in with your strategy and authority. Take it step by step. If you are going to undergo a mutational process, you might want to write it down. You might want to visualize what this mutation is going to look like. Focus on the new you, the new person that is coming into being, the new person that is being birthed, you know. And you know, ultimately it's a major ego death, right? That you're going to go through. And I'm speaking about this because, you know, this is something that I've recently, you know, had to experience. I also have the channel mutation, you know, so this is something that I've experienced many times in my life, right? Just undergoing this change, right? And you know, a lot of times it can be scary, right? I like to attribute mutation with the Fool card in tarot, the 0 point, right? Allowing yourself to go into the 0 point, beginning anew, you know, and beginning the journey and seeing where it can go, right? And allowing yourself to become this new character, this new being. You know, you may have outlived, you know, the old character, right? It may have served its purpose. And so it's time for you to step into a new character, to continue to play the game, right? According to what your higher self wants you to do, right? According to Keter, okay? So, and it's not necessarily like an easy task, right? Because, you know, this process, you know, because it's in the root, there's going to be a lot of shadows that arise, right? You know, so make sure you have a good support system. You have people that you can talk to, you know, people who can see you externally of yourself, right? The subconscious aspect. And, you know, give yourself grace, give yourself the time. You know, make sure you take care of yourself during this mutational process, because it usually comes with this sort of melancholic type of energy, right? And that's because of that ego death. It's because of the death of the old self and the birth of the new. So, you know, it's very normal for somebody to feel that. You know, it could come with some intensity as well, you know, but with it comes inspiration, a rush, a new high, you know, like I said before, a creative pulse. And you have to trust that what is unfolding for you is for your highest good, right? And again, you want to revert back to your strategy and authority. I would say this: there's been times where I've had to mutate because of tribe, right? Because of a tribal circuitry, not necessarily because I wanted to do it, you know. Tuning into my strategy and authority, I didn't necessarily feel like it was the right path for me, you know, to undergo. There was parts of me that was kind of like, okay, I'm feeling the exciting aspect of it, but then there was like this other part of it which was, no, don't do it, you know. And I think that was basically that ego death, right? That was holding me back. But allow yourself the patience to metamorphosize, to sort of go into this cocoon. You know, shed those tears if you need to. You know, find allies if you need to. Write things down if you need to. Go through that process of shadow work if you need to. And then, you know, come out on the other side. Like I said, sometimes the mutational process is very quick, instant, very easy, right? That's usually when your sacral is saying, yes, I want to do this, or whatever your strategy and authority is, right? Let's say you were invited to mutate. You know, you were invited to, you know, completely transform, right? If you're a projector, not transform, but to mutate, to go through this process, right? Or, you know, you're initiating a mutation as a manifester, right? Or you're experiencing a mutation as a reflector. Give yourself the grace to experience all of that. So I'm going to end this live here. I hope you guys find that very helpful. Click the link in the bio. Check out the Patreon community. There's a lot of information in there. I have a tier that's sort of like the ebook. I have a second tier that I just created. It's just going to be more individual videos, you know, more one-on-one interactiveness and so forth and so on. Well, group interactiveness, I should say. And then, you know, obviously you can just book a consultation with me, you know, and we can go through your design, and, you know, hopefully I can help you, you know, go through this experience, through this experiment, and with your human design. All right, Infinite Vibes here to help raise your awareness. Thank you all for tuning in. Peace.